All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Hoofbite coming at you for the final video of Face Off, the final recap. There was a Allies concession on US, China, UK 8 because I had 16 points after Japan and they had to get 5 points to win, and I had done some real good blockading to make sure that he could not pick off some serious points in the Pacific. The Allies had this massive navy here, which was 2 battleships, 2 cruisers, 4 destroyers, that's 8 ships, and then the 11 ships, surface warships with the 3 carriers. And then they had 3 subs in there. And they had 5 super transports, which all this panned out of this task force zone, and it came into these money islands. But yeah, because they only had 11 ships, I only needed 4 ships in each zone to block Japan's soft underbelly, which is the China coast, in my opinion. And provided I hadn't read the rules correctly, I started buying some air bases and put all my stuff in range to do a last-minute suicide to protect my points. But I did read the points right, and I put 4 ships in. It blocked all his surface warships, so his super transports could not be escorted through over here. So US, China, UK 8, they were only able to take oil 1 away and Manila, which by that turn had finally activated kamikazes, but I couldn't use them still. And then their final one on UK 8, they took Cairo, Italy took it back, and then Commonwealth took it back. So in the end, I ended with 13 points. 8 in Europe, 3 in the Pacific, and 2 in the Mediterranean. In the Mediterranean, I had Rome and the Mediterranean point, which is the islands. The Pacific, I just had the cities. I had Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Tokyo. I basically stacked these cities at the end to make sure that they were unable to be conquered. Something with like almost 100% odds in my favor, I think. And then in Europe, I had 8 points. I alone was able to get Reich and resources with just Germany. I had conquered this much in Russia, and European Russia was only left to 3 AAA. That's all they had left. Russia was obliterated by G8. G8/R8. But Russia throughout the game was playing inside China to keep China alive. Yeah, but that's so yeah, 8 points. I had the cities, 6 cities, I believe, and then resources and Reich. So there's where my 8 points there. But yeah, a recap of how everything went is that standard G1, J1, J2, J3 moves, which were to just kind of build up, prepare for Operation Barbarossa. And also, again, it was build up here. And I will get back to this. I will just explain Europe first. But yeah, first couple turns, build up and prepare for Barbarossa. Germany had heavy bombers, and with that, they had a decent Kriegsmarine in the early game, and they went to 91. I believe they had 3 transports and some forces that they had, and they sent 1 transport down here to pick up Argentina and to set some bait over here, because I think I only had 6 units here. They would never be able to make any real progress in Rio. But MooseCow took that bait, and he put resources here to help get me out. But yeah, having gotten that Kriegsmarine down here, Italy initially opened up to get Gibraltar, and then the remaining transports that Germany had, they went into the Med and all around these zones to bring in Spain, and then with Spain coming in, they locked down Gibraltar, and in the end, Gibraltar had 6, 7, 8, 9 infantry, two being Italian, 1 mech, and 1 AAA. And Italy put down an air base down there, and Germany was able to put some aircraft down there to keep that a nice sizable force and a huge deterrent for the Mediterranean. Let's see. So yeah, that's what kind of happened in the whole Atlantic Med area. But on ground, I had an amazing Italian can opener. MooseCow had been doing pretty well with his positioning, and he eventually put a giant sizable army here in Smolensk, I believe. I believe it was Smolensk, and a few units, and maybe at least 10 units in Moscow. And then he put 1 guy here. And I had my Italian bomber in northern Italy, and I can opened here. I had a big stack here in western Ukraine, and I also had a big stack here in Leningrad along with heavy bombers. So I can opened here. I blitzed with 7 tanks and was able to airdrop 6 guys in, and then also bomb with 3. And I had taken Moscow, and that was a big battle, or big turn in the game. Previously, before that, or prior to that, I had started bombing facilities. MooseCow elected to pay a hefty price on the Leningrad factory that I had bombed to move it, and that might have cost him in the end, but I think Moscow was what really turned the game. And so yeah, I had gotten Moscow, and I had gotten it convincingly. I rolled terribly for Scott, or for MooseCow, and rolled really great for me, and I'm really apologetic that that's how the dice happened, because it was almost like a 50-50 battle. But yeah, he still had a sizable army, and he went a bunch of ways with it. He got back Leningrad, which did hurt me for a turn, and he hit Moscow, but he almost bled himself completely dry. But then he kind of surrounded it, and he had super artillery staged around here to get everywhere. But that didn't had no avail. And then again, I can opened with the Italian bomber, and I was able to blitz here to get Stalingrad the next turn, and then on Italy 7, I can opened here to get a Russian AAA out of the way. On a G8, I cleaned up north here, and I was able to secure the last resource in Urals and Caucasus. And that's kind of what happened in Europe, Russia. The Mediterranean was kind of just a sacrifice transport story the entire game. I kept sacrificing transports to close the canal. And sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I was able to, sometimes I wasn't. But I would say about half the game, this was closed. So that's kind of what happened. Italy initially, I think they just kept sacrificing going this way, but their main bulk force was going this way to get Gibraltar and then secure their NOs with Northern Africa. Then they were finally able to focus everything right here. Yeah, and that's how that played out. MooseCow, I guess, tried to bait me. He went for Turkey and started going this way. And it wasn't until late game that I really needed to focus on it. I think that was a big mistake. I mean, not a mistake. I didn't agree with the tactic of it. Yeah, it kind of made my mind think, okay, maybe I have to do this. But eventually I didn't. I just kept playing my game. I just wanted to go for the Canal and Cairo. And I mean, with him doing that, I mean, he had overwhelming productive capacity over me. He had air superiority and he had heavy tanks. He could have got this, locked down Transjordan, took away Med Point, and then eventually threatened Rome late game. That's what I think could have happened and could have worked out better than going this way. So yeah, that's what kind of happened. There was just a med strategy here to keep containing me, and it was just a firefight all game with Italy. So yeah, I think that covers Europe and the Mediterranean. The Pacific. What happened here? I mean, eventually, end game, I had these blockades to protect the points that I could and secure them. But J1, J2, J3, it was more so a buildup right around C-Zone 36, I believe. And then Japan went for the money shot / shotgun blast. They took all the islands, and that's kind of it. That was the whole glory of Japan right there. They didn't have, I mean, provided they had maybe $15 more per turn or something. I'm kind of terrible with Japan, so I did what I could. If I had $15 more per turn, I probably could have gone this way more and maybe been threatening Calcutta more and the Southeast Asia point. But yeah, that never happened. I was too stretched, and I didn't want to thin myself out. I kind of just wanted to have a bulk force and do what I could do with it. Malaya stayed the whole game in UK's hands, so they always had +5 coming their way. So that was pretty good. UK, I mean, had like 60, high 50s. I mean, 50s all game, and it would hurt. I mean, what happened is Japan got completely contained, and they just did what they could do. It was just a big prick fight. Who had the bigger prick? And bigger deterrence. Is someone going to move out? Is someone going to move in? And that's what happened. I had my shotgun blast. I had my points. I had them for the whole game. And then I had my blockade to see which ones could be secured and which ones could be sacrificed. But yeah, I guess the China game, I had complexes in Manchuria. I still have that. I didn't have it in Kweichow. I mean, I did, but then China got it back, so it got obliterated off the map, but that was late game. The China game with Japan was just, I mean, paralyze it, get it up in the corner, make it not do anything. And I didn't want to bring myself all the way up there to obliterate them and get that point, because it would eventually UK would have walked in one of these territories and gotten me. My game plan was just get them paralyzed and keep battling for these territories right here, and eventually just collapse on the coast and hold it. And that's what I did. That's basically what happened here. The U.S. did what they could. They devoted resources to get South America. Perhaps if they had 1 or 2 more surface ships, they would have more points here. But yeah, that's what happened. It was a great game. MooseCow kept commending me that I've improved a lot, and I think so too. I've always played with teammates, so this is my first solo game that I won. But yeah, I had 8 points in Europe, 2 in Mediterranean, and 3 in the Pacific, ending with 13 points. So final overview of the board. There's a final overview of the production chart. Japan was holding on at the very end. They were always in the 40s, I think, on J8, and they just lost. And Germany was off the tracker at 73. And they had a combined 85 with Reich. They had Italy at 12. China ended above Italy. All right, well, this is the end of Face Off. Hoofbite signing out.